Hi, hello, and welcome to the WuMao Show in our third edition. I am the host and the founder of the WuMao Show. My name is Fernando Munoz. Welcome to our show. Tonight, we have a show that will challenge a lot of assertions and accusations in the West regarding freedom to worship here in China. There's going to be plenty of video and photographic evidence, not just talk from people who are here. So stay tuned. Now, on that note, I would like to thank Jing Jing and Jerry Gray for their support to this show. They have provided some of this evidence that we will be showing you tonight. Also, behind the scenes and helping with the running of the show is going to be Mr. Noel Lee of Caliber Wings, but he's a little bit late. So thanks anyway for your support. Now, before we start, I have finally sorted out some of my technical mistakes from the last video. So tonight, for the first time, we will be taking live calls. You can call this phone right here, and you, your audience around the world, you can call us and ask your questions. So stick around to get a chance to talk to us live. So for tonight's show, we have agreed on the following list of topics. So let me show you to 1 second. These are some of the things that we are going to be talking about. Are religions banned in China? That will be a very, very quick answer. What are the differences between religions and cults? What's allowed in China and what's not allowed? We're going to talk a little bit about how places of worship are actually controlled here in China. And we will do our best to talk to some of the people who practice religion here in China. We have 3 people lined up, and we're hoping to, get to talk to them and tell, and they will share their experience with us. One of them is Dr. Brett. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to join us, but there are other people that are on the line. We hope to get to talk to them. And a very interesting point, because a few of the people in tonight's show are agnostic. So what is it like to be agnostic here in China? And we have an American who would like to share with us what that experience is like. And at the end of the show, we're going to be taking calls live from the audience. All right, so tonight I'm going to be joined, first of all, by Mr. Ziv Glickman. So let's bring him in. All right, Ziv, how are you today?
Hi, Fernando. Hi. Thank you for having me in tonight's show. Happy to be here. Talk about this somewhat sensitive issue, religion in China.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit your personal relationship with tonight's topic?
All right. So, well, I'm an agnostic Jew. I guess I'm the only Jewish guy on the show tonight. And religion in China, being outside of my home country, actually, you probably, I need to do more to keep my traditions intact, right? So although I'm an agnostic Jew, I try to keep the tradition, teach my kids. So, for example, this coming Saturday, in 3 days from now, I organized a Passover dinner. It's called the Lela Seder. In Dongguan, not for the first time. Actually, I'm kind of the head of the Jewish community in Dongguan, even though I'm agnostic.
All right.
So
Okay. Cool. Let's continue with the panel. Tonight we will also be joined by Paul from Walkabout Rojo. So let's bring him in very briefly. So there he is, Mr. Walkabout Rojo. Let's wait until his camera is on.
Yes. Can you see me okay? Thank you very much for letting me become on this live stream. And this is a very, as Ziv said, a sensitive topic. A lot of people have very strong passions and emotions regarding this topic. So one thing that I know the WuMao show is all about is having a frank and open discussion about these things. But at the same time, we are all friends, and that is the purpose behind this. Now, Ziv is an agnostic Jew. So does that mean you're culturally Jewish? Is that what you would say?
I think Judaism is a little different than other religions. I'm culturally Jew. I guess that's a good description, good definition.
I was curious because I guess I would consider myself culturally Christian, if you will, because I grew up going to Sunday school. My family is Christian, but me myself, I'm an atheist. I'm not an agnostic. I do distinguish between the two, but I am an atheist.
That's different.
It is different, yes, and a lot of people get that distinguishment, separated a little bit. But at the same time, I'm fascinated by tonight's subject, and I'm really excited to be part of this with all of you. So,
all right, Paul, thanks so much. Now, also on the show, we are going to have Mr. Alex Absolute. That's not his name; that's the name of his channel. So let's bring him in. Alex, how are you, man?
Hey, yeah, I'm good. Apart from a few technical hitches, the light in the background's not really working, and I couldn't find the dummy battery for my A7S III, so we're just gonna be crossing our fingers. I got another battery down here to change just in case. It seems to be running about 1% a minute at the minute, so I guess we're good. But yeah, I'm all good. In case just for the record, totally atheist. I don't actually know what's the difference between an atheist and an agnostic.
Agnostics are people that don't believe in God, but also cannot prove that there is no God.
Oh, okay.
I have a slightly
sure.
different. I have a slightly different one. It's I always thought that agnostics were just hands up and like. I don't have a dog in this fight kind of thing. It's,
I think, Paul, I mean, I just looked at the definition 10 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. So I'll take your word for it, man. Definitely.
Wikipedia, man.
Yeah. See, I was confused. I was like, somebody who believes in God but doesn't believe in God. I was like, is that like a vegan that eats meat? Like,
no, I mean, I always say I don't believe in God, but I cannot tell you 100% there is no God.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys. There's a problem with my camera, so I will be back in about 2 minutes.
All right. We're also going to have another guest, what we call a drop-in, somebody who's going to join us in the middle of the show to talk about his experience with this particular topic. One of them is Mr. Jerry Gray. Basically, Jerry is on the road right now. He's riding around China, as he often does. And, he's documenting China from the ground. And, he sent us quite a lot of information about this that we will be sharing. So let us remind people a little bit about what we want to do today. We are going to address a few questions. The first question that we want to address is this one. Are religions banned in China?
Can I go first?
Sure.
Absolutely not. I would say it shortly, right? Religion is definitely not banned in China, but it is controlled in some way.
Yes. There are actually there's a little picture that I wanted to show here, and then we can. I think that this is the easiest of the questions to answer, so probably this will be a little bit faster. But here it is, guys. This is the Constitution of China. Yeah, is there in Chinese? Somebody can go and look it up. Are religion bans in China? What I want to point out here is the thing that you see in bold. This is in the Constitution of China. And Article 2 says citizens have freedom of religious belief. So there you go. It's in the Constitution. It's legal. Anybody wants to add up to that?
I mean, it is, but like Ziv said, it is kind of controlled. There's where I live, if anybody doesn't realize, Wenzhou is supposedly like the Christian center of China. Sounds kind of strange, but it has the highest concentration apparently of Christians, and there is a lot of you can drive around the city and there's a lot of churches, and there's a lot of people that I know, friends. There's a high amount of Chinese people I know which consider themselves Christians, and they do all the regular things that Christians do. I guess I'm not one. They go and they sing and I'm not sure what else Christians do. You'd have to ask Brett. But yeah, they do have them here, but then also. There is a lot of restrictions. There was a school here that got closed down because the government did not like it, and they spent a long time. It was a heavily Christian American school, that was actually run by Chinese people, but there was a huge amount of Christians, and it wasn't just, I guess, because it wasn't just regular Christianism. I think some friends of mine came over from America, and their kids were going to go to this school because it was, it was the one everybody recommended foreign kids to go to in Wenzhou, because Wenzhou's not a big, huge international city, because a lot of the foreign kids were all there, and they could still have foreign friends and have a foreign school experience. Whereas if they go to other ones, it was going to be more of a get along with the Chinese people and be out of your depth speaking Chinese. And they took one look at the curriculum for this place and were like, no. This is, I think it's like Mormon, so kind of like a bit more. I'm not up on my religions, but they said it wasn't your regular run-of-the-mill Christian stuff. But that school, the government spent years trying to find an excuse to shut them down, and finally shut them down just before the virus hit, and they all got sent away. You got 30 days, get out of China. And then there's a lot of other things as well. Like here, they do tear the they ordered all the steeples to be torn off churches, I think, or a lot of them, because they didn't want it advertised. So it's kind of a 50-50 thing as far as I get it. It's allowed, but you still got to respect that they still have to respect that it's not a Chinese religion, so it will never be as free as like say a Buddhist temple or one of the Taoism things.
Sure. Ziv, yeah?
Yeah, I want to add that although religion is not banned in China, I believe that missionaries and converting people is banned.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you go to America, they're always looking for English teachers from America, and there's a lot of literature out there regarding recruitment from places like the Mormon Church or Christian churches to teach English in China to children. And the government is very aware of this. And so when we come here as part of our visa process, it actually states, and we have to like sign it, saying that we will not be pushing religious doctrine onto our students. It's a requirement to become a teacher here. You're not allowed to do this, but it is something that a lot of religions will try to save people here in China, if you will, through the English, and the government's very aware of that, and it's a big no-no. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, we actually wanted to talk to a teacher that Ziv and we know here in Dongguan. He works at a school that's basically a religious school. It's a regular school, but it's called the Trinity.
I think we shouldn't say the name, first of all, and second of all, I think that it's not a religious school. I mean, it's we should be careful how we call it. I don't think they call it a religious school, but I mean, let's just say that when let's say when the little kids have the coloring books, it would be a car, airplane, Maria. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I mean, the stories are going in there somehow, but it's not a full-fledged religious school, I would say. It has
no.
It has
when
a
the
feeling.
logo has a cross, in my eyes, I don't know the school. I don't know them that well, but I look at it from outside and that's very clear to me that there's a cross in their logo.
Nevertheless, they've been open for about 15 years. So I mean, that tells you something.
Exactly. There's some leeway in what people can or cannot do in terms of religion. Now, one thing that I wanted to talk about is, well, there are basically 5 religions in China. Let me just run through this for the people who are new to China, don't know this stuff. They're basically Buddhism, Taoism, Islam, Christianity, and Catholicism. There's an interesting thing here that we're going to be addressing a little bit later on, which is groups that are cults, actually. So we're going to be addressing this particular topic a little bit later.
That is a rabbit's hole, Fernando. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sure.
But, I mean,
that's what we're here for.
Actually, this is a good time to mention something. My opinion is that this goes into like what religion and everything. But I always thought that Eastern religions are more like philosophies. They are not like Western religions. Western religions teach you, as I believe, to be afraid of God, be fearful, or else. And I don't think Eastern religions preach that. And maybe that goes into the discussion of what's a cult too. I don't know.
Sure, because we just read what are the 5 religions that are kind of like accepted in China. Yeah, the 5 religions of China, but Judaism is not there. What does that mean for somebody who's a Jew and who practices? Because there's places for Jews to practice their religion in China. Am I correct?
So about Jewish people in China. First of all, there is a Jewish community, Chinese people that are Jewish, in a place called, I believe, Kaifeng, I think, and some of them did move to Israel a few years back, and they keep practicing their religion. I'm not sure about the restrictions they have, but also I want to mention that Jewish people have something called Bet Chabad, which is a house of Chabad, which is there are rabbis in China. Basically, there are rabbis in China, sanctions by these organizations called Chabad, and they have a community center in big cities like Shenzhen has one, Guangzhou, Foshan, Chengdu, Shanghai, Beijing, and so on. And recently, when I spoke to the rabbi, it's very interesting how he defined his role. He said his role is to remind Jews that they are Jews. So basically, he helps Jewish people abroad, or they help Jewish people abroad keep their tradition when it's maybe a little bit more difficult, when we can't get something that is related to keeping our traditions. They are not even convincing an agnostic Jew as me to be more religious. You know what I mean? But the point is, they are allowed to be here in China.
Okay, I wanted to bring some videos that have been shared by Jing Jing and Jerry. The first one that I want to show our audience is a video about the Shotan Festival in Tibet. So this is basically a very special festival, and she documented it. So it's a very short clip. It's about a minute. Let's watch.
Hi everybody, after half an hour climbing the mountain in early morning, now we finally arrived here up in the mountain, and you can see Tibetans, locals and monks are here already waiting to wait for the ceremony, because later on this direction you can see there's a giant platform. Later they're gonna display this giant Buddha tanka. Now I think, they're setting up the tanka. Okay.
Some technical difficulties?
What touches me the most is on our way to the mountain, I saw so many locals. I saw a grandma. She is so old, but she was praying and kneeling the entire way. And there were so many people, so many crowd walking past her. But in her eyes, she couldn't see any of us. In her eyes, there's only Buddha. She was praying to this tanka the entire time, no matter how many people passing her. That's how devoted those locals are to their religion.
Wow.
All right, guys. I don't know if you saw the video. You were sending a message saying that you didn't see the video.
Yeah, we saw it.
What
That's
about-
amazing.
Still, and I thought I'd died for a second. It was all just suddenly quiet.
I saw it. We just got messages that they were able to see it on YouTube, so it did go out, and people were able to watch it. Amazing video, really, really cool.
What was the video?
I think it was in Tibet.
Actually,
yeah.
Yeah. Paul, go.
Oh, go ahead, Fernando. You know it better. It's your
No,
video.
basically, it's no, it's not my video. It's Jing Jing's video.
Yeah.
She basically visited Tibet during a particular festival, which is called the
It's
Shantung
the
Festival, I
Tanka.
think.
It's the Tanka video. I watched it
Yeah,
earlier
and
today. Okay.
okay, cool. So basically, that's what she's showing, and she's basically showing people that yeah, people can celebrate their religions here freely. I want to show something else related to this idea in the West about religions being banned here. And Jerry was very kind to send this particular video that he made on his channel a few weeks back, a few months back, where he shows all kinds of churches, all kinds of mosques, all kinds of places of worship around China, because people tend to say that they are banned, that you can't really have religion freedom to worship in China. So another short minute, and you tell me what do you think. One of my photos isn't actually in this video, so let's have a quick watch. This is a short minute.
Welcome to another video, actually a collection of photographs, not a video, but put together as a video by Jerry Gray, Jerry's China. One of the things that's really upset me in recent days, recent weeks, recent months, is the amount of lies and propaganda there is about China. One of the most recent is the fact that churches, mosques are not allowed, religion is not allowed. And I put together a short video showing the two churches in my own city that are very close to my house. And I posted that on YouTube, and I linked it to my Twitter, and I got a lot of positive feedback. This is good to know, but I also got a little bit of negative feedback from people who say, well, that may be true in your city, but we know that there is no religion allowed in China and that churches are not allowed to be built or not allowed to have crucifixes on them. Well, the fact is, unless you've been to China or know someone very well who has spent some time in China, you probably don't know any of the truth about religion in China. Churches and mosques are pretty much ubiquitous. Every town, every city has one of each. My own city does not have a mosque, but it does have a place where Muslims can go to worship. And it's actually attached to a Muslim restaurant, quite freely, openly Muslim people. My own local church was pulled down about 2 years ago, and our first thought, group of lads who get together and drink from time to time, was, oh, maybe there is some truth in this. We didn't realize it. But no, what they did was they pulled the church down. Nobody took photos. It didn't get into a national or international media, but they rebuilt the church. Their church is now a beautiful pink building with a crucifix on the top. And I guess the only concession to Chinese nationalism is a flagpole at the front. Now, I lived in the UK. Pretty much every church has got a flagpole. I've seen pictures of the US. Pretty much every church has got a flagpole. Flags are everywhere, so I don't think there's anything sinister about that. I've also traveled through places like Gansu and Ningxia and into Xinjiang, and there are literally dozens and dozens of mosques that you see every day if you're traveling any distance there. I've been to villages where there's only 30, 40 houses, and they have at least one, sometimes two mosques. So this idea of people thinking there are no mosques, there are no churches, there is no religion in China, I'm very sorry to tell you, these pictures came from my Twitter followers, people who said, I appealed, people who said, here, have a look at this. So there's about 60 of them here, and they're from all around, from the north, from the east, from the west, from the south. They're from all over China. Church is lawful and legal in China.
All right. So that was a clip. Paul?
Yeah, man, I just want to follow up. Jerry and I live in the same neighborhood here in Zhongshan, and that church he's talking about is a big, beautiful pink church that I've put in a couple of my videos. And what he was trying to get at is something that I think a lot of people don't realize, is that religion is everywhere in China. It's ubiquitous. It's not religion is not just the Western religions; it's the local religions as well. You got Hindu, you got the Buddhism. I mean, come on, Buddhist temples on every single mountaintop here. And I think that's one of the things we need to get at, is that everyone is aware of it and everyone practices in their own way. Where there was a comment someone made that the government doesn't really care what religion you are, so long as it doesn't have giant group followings that are unregulated in some way. But so many people out here are religious in one way or another, and they're free to worship as they want.
But
that's something. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Ziv. Go ahead.
I just thought about something. I wonder if it's not allowed to convert other people, how does China get more and more Christians, for example? I don't know the answer to that.
That's a great question. I'm sure it comes in private conversations at dinners, and I'm sure it comes in friends meeting friends and stuff like that. But that's a topic that I want to go into on a later subject, as far as the atheist experience in here and how it compares to America, because it's very apropos to that question, Ziv.
Yeah, right. I think I want to mention something that I think, like the same way there are nuances when we talk about things that are pro-China, there are also nuances here. Again, you see religion everywhere in China. You do. We live here for a very long time, right? We all see it. So we are 100% sure religion is not banned in China. But for someone that is very religious, maybe there are nuances that he can say, oh, well, it's not banned, but I can't do this or that. You know what I mean?
I see that there's always kind of like a gray area, and that's what troubles people. There's that uncertainty as to what can I do, what can not be done. For me, I think that the basic concept is something that is in the Constitution, is as long as you do not disrupt harmony.
Yeah,
that's all it takes. Alex, I wanted to ask you about your corner of China. What's it like over there for people who practice? What can you comment on? Well, religion down there.
Well, like I said, it is a huge Christian area here. So it's a lot more Christian here than you would get in other parts of China, I'm guessing. Everybody says that they are. It's a heavy concentration of religion here, and I've personally known a lot of my colleagues over the years have been Christian, have invited me to this and invited me to these different things. In fact, one of my good friends, one of my best men when I got married, was an American guy who was here, Chuck, and he was I don't know how you say it, a strong Christian. He was very, like his main topic of conversation a lot of the time would involve God and religious topics, and he was perfectly okay here. He was perfectly okay with it. I know that it is like they said, it's allowed, but there is, I guess it's not just if it's harmony. I think that the Christianity they do want toned down a bit here, because, like I said, a lot of the Christians were a little bit annoyed because the government had ordered that churches need to have all the spires pulled down. I'm guessing that's not an all over China thing, but maybe here they were, they saw it was getting, there's a lot of churches here. I can look at this off my balcony over here, and you can see this huge great one. They're hugely decorative as well, and they're pretty big. Even where we've got our offices in this mountain village, it's a mountain village right in the middle of nowhere, and there's a whacking great big church in it. So it's definitely not banned for sure, but it's like everything in China. Like, if it's not part of traditional Chinese culture, I'm guessing you don't want to push it too far. Would be my feeling. The churches. A lot of the churches here are also, they've got these big grand ones, but a lot of the ones which are the really popular ones, we went to one once with one of my colleagues, and it was like a tiny little door that you wouldn't have known on a street that you wouldn't have really known, and then you kind of went in and up and opened that into a church, and they did all the regular churchy things, but it was low key. So it's kind of a mixed bag of nuts, really. I guess that some of it's right in your face and some of it's not. But not being religious, I don't. As soon as people start talking, inviting me to religious stuff, I'm kind of out. I'm not into it. But I do have a weird interest in a lot of the historical side of it. Like, for example, for me, I'd really like to go to Vatican City just because, I've read about I've read and seen a lot about it. You know, the Da Vinci Code, although that's not real. There's a lot of.
Are you sure?
So I'd like to see all of the stuff that they've got hidden underneath there and just see if that kind of stuff's true. There's a lot of religious history, like stuff like the Illuminati. The Illuminati was originally a religious base, like a thing where religion was trying to wipe out science, and like that's although those are a lot of stories, they have a lot of factual basis, and a lot of the places which they have in these sensationalized movies are real places. So there's a lot of history behind it as well, which I find quite interesting, and I'm always interested to hear different religious like practices. Because, like, although I'm not religious, I would say, like, anybody who's religious, like, I always say to them, I'm not religious. I don't believe in God, but I do believe in a lot of the things which religion teaches you. Being a good person, how to treat other people, a lot of those things. I still
that's what it's supposed to.
Just
it's supposed to teach you that, yeah.
Yeah, like okay, it's supposed to teach you that, but like I would say I could be semi-religious, but without actually believing in it. Like it's just like the code of conduct kind of thing, I guess.
Guys, I want to bring one of our first guests. Ziv is coming back. His name is Jerry Gray. He was a person who actually sent us the video. There's another video that he made, and I would like to bring him so that he tells us a little bit about the video that he shot today. And here it is, Mr. Jerry Gray. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, where are you tonight?
In a little town or little city called Yunfu, very close to the Guangxi border. So you can see I don't have a studio. I've got very bad hotel lighting and bad hotel Wi-Fi. So if you lose me, I apologize.
I see the bikes at the back.
Ride. You can see the bikes behind us. We're just resting up overnight and heading out again in a day or so for the Guangxi border. Just heading towards Yunnan for a few days. We'll be out of town about 2 months.
All right, Jerry, why don't you tell us a little bit about the video that you shot this morning or today, and what it was special about it, what you wanted to share with us today. Hi, Jerry. All right, I think I can't hear Jerry. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video that he sent just this afternoon. Again, talking about how a lot of people actually say that churches are being destroyed in China. That's one of the stories that we wanted to talk about with one of our guests, but we won't be able to do that. But here's a story from the ground, a really interesting story. So, Jerry, I'm going to show you a video right now. Let's watch.
There's a story on the internet and in mainstream media that church in China is banned, and pictures like this are exactly what propagate that story. You see churches like that occasionally, but then we take a walk down the road. This nice gentleman here has stopped to allow me to film, and I'm walking down the road to show you something in this very, very, very old street in a town called Gaoyao, which is part of Zhaoqing and very close to Yunfu, close to the border of Guangxi, actually. Very old place. Now stand by for something surprising for mainstream media. We have this thing. And that is the new Christian church. And from this angle, we can't see it, but right at the top, I'll just go a little further down, you can see how old this street is. We can see there is a crucifix on the top. 100-year-old street.
I'd say that's a 2 or 3 year old church, which kind of defeats the logic of any story that says church is banned in China.
All right, that was a very, very interesting clip, Jerry. Tell us a little bit more about that clip.
Yeah, it was just a coincidence. I knew we were going to be talking about this tonight, and we were told to go and have a look at this street because it's kind of special. It's a very old street. They call it the 100-year-old street, but it's actually been called that for about 100 years. So it's at least a 200-year-old street. That's a classic Chinese thing, but a name of a 100-year-old. So it must be at least that. And so, yeah, I went in. The first thing I saw was that church boarded up, and I thought, oh, God, the BBC would love this. And I completely missed, because I was looking at the boarding up, I completely missed the fact that I rode past this huge, great monolithic church. And it wasn't until I'd ridden past it and then come back the other way, I thought, I've got to get off the bike and film this. So that's what I did. That's it completely dumbfounded me. You can't tell me, it's impossible to tell me that religion is being oppressed. Now, yes, there's all sorts of issues about what control there is on religion, but it's not being oppressed. Christians, Jews, Muslims, there are thousands of mosques. I've ridden through Gansu and Xinjiang, literally thousands of mosques in those places, and Ningxia too. And almost every city has a mosque. So,
I think there is a mosque in every city.
There's not one in Zhongshan where Paul and I live. But there is a place, I'm sure. There is a place that the Muslims can worship. It's attached to a local restaurant called the Muslim Restaurant, of all names. But yeah, it's not a
I know that
mosque.
restaurant. Yeah, the great food.
You know exactly
too.
what I'm talking about. We've all been there.
Yes, I do. Yes, of course.
Yeah, it has a room on the roof which is designated for the local Muslims to go there. But not many people use it because there aren't many Muslims in Zhongshan. I had a friend, until quite recently, I had a Bangladeshi or Bengali friend who is Muslim, and he told me that if he wanted to worship, he would go to Guangzhou.
One of the reasons why I wanted to talk about religion in China has to do with what's been said around the world about China, particularly about the Uyghur population and Muslims in China. It's something that I consider extremely dangerous and extremely important to address and to unveil what is true about Muslims here in China. The first thing to say is that there is a really large Muslim population in China, in the hundreds of millions of Muslims in the country. I would like to prove to you this fact by showing you another short clip that Jing Jing sent us when she actually talked to a very important person in the Muslim organization here in China. So the video is quite long, but I cut it into small pieces, like some of the most relevant things. And she talks about something that basically it contradicts the narrative. Let's watch.
A lot of Western politicians, think tanks, and media keep spreading this anti-China propaganda. They keep saying that Muslims in China don't have the religious freedom. Uyghurs and people of other ethnic groups are so oppressed. But is it really like that? Today, I'm going to talk to the vice president of the China Islamic Association. He's a Uyghur from Xinjiang, and he's going to tell us what it's really like for Muslims in China.
因为就这一段时间，就是很多在西方的反华政客、智库或者是一些这个媒体，他们一直在鼓吹的，就是说中国的这个穆斯林群体没有宗教信仰自由，他们是一群被打压的群体。那您是作为这个中国伊斯兰教协会的副会长，您本身也是这个维吾尔族人，您如何看待就是西方所表达的这个观点呢？
西方有些人呢，他是带着这个意识形态偏见啊，罔顾事实，颠倒黑白啊，肆意炒作，所谓这个新疆强迫劳动宗教人士受到迫害呀，穆斯林群众的信仰呢，这个受到限制 等这些谬论。新疆有2万多座清真寺穆斯林那个新教那个伊斯兰教教职人员是29000多人。而且呢，就新疆在这个政府呢高度重视新疆的伊斯兰教教育事业政府呢2017年9月投资上亿元建了新疆伊斯兰教经学院的新院校。
What I like to say when I watch a video like that is that most people outside China or a lot of people would simply go and say like, of course he's going to say that. Of course he has to say that. That's an argument, but the other true argument is that these organizations actually exist, that these people are actually there working, receiving investment from the government to pursue their religion. Any comments from the group?
Paul, I think well, first of all, there is a mosque in Dongguan, right, in Guangchang. Maybe you don't know. It's not like fancy or something. You can't really see it's a mosque, but it's a place that is a mosque. And the head guy there, the Muslim guy, he's a member of the party. He's even subsidized by the party to be the main mosque guy in Dongguan. So I think that if you just let's say a simple, plain religious guy, a Muslim guy, just want to practice your religion and quietly for yourself, there is no problem with that. Maybe some of the guys that make more noise and cry that maybe there is no religion freedom are just guys that want to make noise, and they're not just they don't settle with just practicing the religion quietly.
The other guys in the panel, Paul or Alex, how do you see the whole situation with Uyghurs and Muslim China?
That's an explosive one, right? That's like holding a grenade. I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know because I just don't comment on things I don't know. Like, I see a lot of this and I see a lot of that. There's a lot of talk on both sides of it, and I don't really see any conclusive thing that sits it either way, to be honest. It's not my circus, not my monkeys. I can't tell either way, so I have no idea.
All right.
Honestly, no.
Paul?
Nope. I agree with Alex, man. I've never been there. I've never been north of the Yangtze River. I've traveled all over southern China. I mean, I could tell you what I've seen personally, but when I watch Western news, just the use of their adjectives kind of makes me, question their narrative. But then the other side, their use of the certain adjectives, I kind of question theirs as well. So I have no way qualified to talk about this at all. I would have to defer to Jerry, who's actually been to Xinjiang, all around it. Yeah.
I was out partying at a club the other night with two guys from Xinjiang who were Uyghurs, and they were drinking alcohol and partying at a club. They seem pretty cool guys.
I want to say something. I don't know if I'll have the chance to say it later, so I'll say it now. I mean, you had a question on the screen, just the last one, Fernando. It was, maybe you can put it up again. How is it restricted or? So
controlled?
Basically, So from my experience, and I think I had a little argument with Jerry previously about that, is that from my experience, I've seen and I've heard from people I know that at least in our city, churches, for example, can't be mixed. For example, there would be a church for foreigners and church for Koreans and a church for other Westerners, right? So That's what I've seen and I've heard. But having said that, maybe it's also a case of one thing is like every city, every province may put their own enforcement the way they see it. Another thing I was thinking today is that maybe those places I've heard of are maybe not licensed. You know what I mean? Because a church has to be licensed, and I guess I don't know for sure, but I assume a mosque has to be licensed, and any religious place or worship grounds. And maybe if it's not licensed, then at least they make sure they are not mixed. And maybe it's also preventing this issue we discussed earlier about converting other people. But from my experience, I've seen that they would not want people to mix Chinese people and Westerners in those places. In other cities, it might be different.
Anybody knows about the mixing or no mixing of foreigners and Chinese in places of worship?
I don't know.
Seems fine here in Wenzhou. They do all the time.
Well, I'm waiting to try my first phone call. I want to talk to a friend of mine who goes to church often here in Dongguan. Let me text him and okay, let's see. Call. Oh, here's the call. Okay, let's see if I can patch him up. Okay. Okay, so this is coming basically from my phone. Okay, so let's see. Hello? I need to put this. Give me 1 second. Oh, this is not going on Bluetooth. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, while we got some dead time, I can just see a comment here. I think I guess if you're a Safa, this guy's name must be Johan Broer. Well, I do. He said at me. Well, I do. I've had some crazy nights with genuine Uyghurs. They are the coolest people, and they are not afraid to talk about Xinjiang and the privileges they have. I mean, I guess that's cool. I guess they are. I wasn't saying in any way that Xinjiang people were bad. I just don't know and couldn't answer either way. So I just don't talk about things that I don't know fully. I've met some cool Uyghurs as well. Well, the ones here anyway. But yeah.
All right, guys, let's give my friend a try. Ricky, can you hear me?
No, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear him.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
You can hear him? Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can hear you.
We can hear you,
All right,
Ricky. Can you hear us?
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Let's do this like this because I need to plug my headphones on another side. Let me see if I can try that. Give me 1 second because I want to do this conversation proper.
Ricky, you can
You
hear
wear
us?
left-handed headphones.
No problem.
Oh, the joys of live streaming.
You got those
Well, in the
left-handed
meantime-
headphones.
All
Oh,
right.
no, there you
so
go. Okay,
Ricky,
here we go.
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Paul-
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Ricky, thank you for joining us. This is the first time we do this, so you are breaking ground in our show.
Oh, that's great.
Thanks so much. I wanted to ask you a question. Tell us a little bit about how often do you go to church? Where do you go to church? And how is it different from churches abroad, if there is any difference?
Well, let us say I go to church like once or twice a month,
Mm-hmm.
and I always go in Shenzhen. I'm Catholic, and there is one church in Futian, St. Anthony's Church. So they have masses in English and in Chinese, and on Saturdays and Sundays. I usually go on Sundays.
We were discussing.
Well, you asked.
We were
ahead.
talking about whether the different nationalities like Chinese and foreigners can go together.
Well, actually, I usually go to the mass in English, and there are many Chinese people. So,
Okay.
people from all over the world. I met some people from Italy, and a couple from Spain, but there are many Chinese.
Excellent.
And it's quite interesting, First time I went there was like 4 or 5 years ago, actually. And I was really impressed by the number of Chinese people.
Wow.
And this number is increasing.
And how do you find out about these churches? I mean, for example, we're saying that there's a lot of control, as in it's not like they can promote it openly or advertise it openly. So when you first got here, how did you find out about, churches to go to?
Well, about this church, I found out on TripAdvisor. Because before I used to go to Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
So this one I found on TripAdvisor. And you asked me before about differences. Man, I see no differences from masses in here and the ones I used to go in my own country. Just the language.
Only the language?
Yeah.
All right. Good. How about, for example, different rituals or traditions like First Communion and all these things? Is it all the same?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Pretty much the same thing.
Weddings, all these things.
Yeah. Like last year, I went to one mass. It was the First Communion mass, and there were many Chinese children. It's very interesting.
Yeah,
I never expect to see that, to be honest.
Okay. If you wanted to let people outside of China know a little bit more about your experience, what would be one thing? I know that you're busy. You're traveling tomorrow, so I don't want to keep you too long. So what would you like to tell people about your religion and your experience practicing your religion in China? What would you like them to know?
Well, the thing is, I remember before coming to China, before living here, I used to have this idea, I will not be able to keep on seeing the service, the church, whatever. But then when I got here, I don't know exactly about the government, like what is true and what is not. I cannot say anything about that. But there are churches in many places. And, you know that I travel a lot. And every time I travel, I try to find one Catholic church in the city I'm going to. Mm-hmm. And I always found one. And there's always many people. And they're very kind, very host. It's nice. So I think people need to know that we can have our own religion here. And it's not a big issue.
Cool. Ricky, thank you so very much for, joining our show and for being the first person to do this.
Sure, hopefully my pleasure, man. My pleasure.
More people will do this in the future. Hey, and have a very safe trip, and thank you so much for joining our show, man. Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you for inviting me.
Sure, bye.
Fernando, before we go on, I would like to say something.
All right, guys.
Just a call to the audience.
He's gonna plug in
while Fernando is doing his own thing, right? Yeah. So I do want to mention that if any one of you don't follow any one of us, you should go to our channel, Alex Absolute, Walkabout Ojo. My channel is Ziv Glickman. Fernando is Fer Mube. And of course, China, our podcast together, and give us a follow, okay, to support. Also, I would like to mention something that I wanted to say from the beginning, but this is the WuMao show, right? And if anyone stumbled upon this show, it's the name is kind of a joke, just to make it clear, okay? We are not paid 50 cents.
Oh no, we lost Liv. He got cut off. Look at that. Oh no.
Well, yeah,
guys,
that's quite funny.
I'm going to get another headset for the other machine so I can just swap a headset. Give me 1 second.
Okay, I'd like to address something else I've seen in the comments as well. That seems to be this talk all about religion, and then people are kicking into Santa Claus. Come on, guys, this is Santa Claus. Like, just leave him alone, man. Like, Santa's all right. He brings gifts. He drinks whiskey at nighttime. He flies a fucking sled. Like, just give the guy a break, right? Like, what's the world come to? Karens. Do you realize, right? Somebody called me a Karen the other day. Called me a Karen. And I was like, I'm the opposite of that. Like, you're the guys that are moaning in the comments, which is literally the definition of what Karens do. Someone, forgot what somebody called me. I was the chief of cancel culture, and I was like, nah. I'm literally the guy that's like, yeah, go ahead, do that.
I was in the middle, Paul. I don't know how much you heard, right? I was saying
we got a lot of it.
I was saying that Fernando. I was just reminding everybody that the WuMao show the name is kind of a joke. We are not really paid by anyone.
Yeah.
I think if anyone sees this show for the first time, it's important to mention.
Yeah. Well, the definition of the WuMao is Chinese people being paid to make comments on the internet. And I mean, I don't know. The last time I checked, I'm not Chinese, so couldn't be me, could it? Or
not yet.
You guys. So it's interesting when people just take these insults. Yeah, you guys are WuMaos, and it's like, nah, I don't think so. Like, I don't actually even think.
All right, guys.
So do anything for WuMao.
Let's go into the next topic, something that I know Paul was interested in discussing, being agnostic. So you've got the floor, sir.
Thank you, guys. Okay. So, and Alex, I actually want to hear your thoughts on this afterwards. But I'm from America, and America is very heavily dominated by Christianity. I grew up in that. I went to Sunday school. I've not read all of the Bible, but I've read a lot of it. And when I was in the service, I was in the Air Force and for many years. And even though the American government is technically secular, the society itself is very, very religious. And to be honest, as an atheist living in South Dakota, serving as a troop in America during the Iraq and Afghanistan wars back in the early 2000s, I was persecuted a lot for my lack of beliefs. And that's something that's rarely talked about. I mean, I remember in basic training, you train, you work hard and everything. And then on Sunday, everyone goes to church. Well, I was an atheist, so I didn't go to church. And they said, okay, you're not going to church. You can stay back and wax the floors. And that's what I did. So that's the atheist experience in America. And South Dakota, when I was living there, if you were discovered that you were an atheist, oftentimes there would be no one was mean to me or anything, but they all tried to save me. They throw their pamphlets. They say, "Hey, come to my church. Come to this church. You can't date my daughter." I got that a lot. But okay, so and that's America for you. And our good friends in California on YouTube that we know have talked about this as well. That when you're in America, it's in your face. It's everywhere. And everyone wants you to come be part of their club. It's kind of a nightmare. It's coming at you from all different areas. And it's not just the big ones, it's the little ones too. So one of the things that has struck me the most about living in China after living my whole life in America, and of course I've traveled to Muslim countries and other countries as well, so I've gotten a full range of what I'm talking about here, was that I've talked about this on my live streams before, is that I kind of feel freedom from religion, if you know what I mean. People around here are very religious. There's religious people everywhere, and they're very wonderful, and you can ask them questions, you can talk with them, it's wonderful, but they don't throw it in your face. They don't judge you if you have any other beliefs or lack of beliefs. There's really an equality amongst the beliefs here that I have not found anywhere else, including America, where you're free to worship however you wish, but if you're not part of their club, there's something wrong with you. And now that's not talking about everybody, by the way. This is just some personal experiences I've had. So here I meet all kinds of religious people, and they're wonderful people. I love talking to them. I ask them questions. I'm interested, but they're not telling me that there's something missing in my life, or that I'm a bad person, or this is better than the other. So I just want to point that out, that there is a huge amount of diversity in religion here. And it's very for lack of a better word, it's very harmonious. And that's something that most people can experience. So I love living here for that reason, that I can go about my day and live my life in peace. And I don't have people knocking on my door telling me there's something missing from my life. So that's something I wanted to just
I 100%
say
agree
about
with
this.
you.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I actually experience you wrote China versus US, but I can say, being Jewish from Israel,
I'm sure it's the same thing.
No, it's much worse, I think. I grew up in the 80s, and I kind of love it that its religion is separated from state here. Like you in the US, you say separate state and church, but it's in Israel. I felt when I grew up that religion is forced in a lot of things. For example, we don't have public transportation on a Saturday, on the Shabbos, right? As a 16-year-old, 15-year-old, when I wanted to go to a party on Friday night, I couldn't take the bus. It really sucked. Also, buying bacon, buying pork was very, very difficult to find. So in a lot of ways, religion was forced. And that made me resent religion. I think that pushed me to be agnostic, really.
Maybe.
So I really kind of like it here. Like Paul said, I think, nobody is pushing anything on you.
See, for me, completely different.
No, really? Alex, tell us.
Well, like you said, I come from America and religion is a big part. I come from England and cider and 16-year-old kids stabbing each other in a park's a big thing. Like, there's literally nobody really cares. Like, there's a lot of people that are religious. We have churches, we have people that go to church, but it's not thrust in your face. It's not like a big part of society. Nobody ever looks down on you. I'd say the majority of people either don't care or aren't religious. There's still a lot of religious people. I have a lot of my family on my South African family. Like South Africa, religion's a much bigger part of life. There are a lot more. It's a lot more emphasized over there. In England, it's just not really like. So coming here wasn't really any change for me. In fact, it got a little bit less, I guess, because there's a guy in the comments, Quantum Alchemist. He's mentioning about the Jehovah's Witnesses, and like those guys are they get a bit annoying. Just like he said, they come around and there's a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses coming and knocking on doors. And I used to, like when you're younger, you get a little bit annoyed about that because they're always coming around and they're trying to convert you, and they've got this little pamphlet book they spread out, and it's got this like really idyllic picture of people sharing bread on park benches, and there's a whole story that that's what they're going to make the world like, and you're like, I don't know what you guys been smoking, but come in, because when you realize the funniest thing to do is invite them into your house, it gets hilarious. Like every time they open it up and you're like, oh, what's this guy over here doing? Like, what's he eating? What do you think that guy likes for breakfast? And you can just keep going for ages. Because
Alex, you have time for this? How do you have time to invite them into your house? I don't know. I have my life to lead, man.
I catch you at the right moment when you've had a few ciders and you're like, okay, come in. Let's talk about this stuff. What's this? What do you think this guy's mum's name is called? Like there's lots of random questions. The more you tease them, the more they go crazy. It's hilarious.
Okay, I gotta bring this comment in. Okay, this is Elaine. She says, I answer the door naked when the Jehovah's Business of the Mormons come around.
What's your address, Elaine?
Give them a thrill, man. Give them a thrill.
Once I was in the Hong Kong metro, maybe more than 10 years ago, in the Hong Kong metro, the missionary stopped me and started talking to me about religion. He was Mormon. And I don't appreciate that. I don't want to, be persuaded by someone on the train to go to church or something like that. No, thank you.
Yeah, that's part of their doctrine. It's they have to recruit. That's one of the things, is to find other.
Do they have a quota?
People.
They get commission.
Yeah, it's just part of their religion. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the only case in which I felt that not having I should say that I was baptized. My family is Catholic, and I did my first communion. And I was telling a friend earlier that my mom invented iced coffee before Starbucks did, because she would go to church every morning and she would make my coffee before I went to school the night before, put it in the fridge, and then I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, grab the coffee, go to school. So very Catholic Catholic family. My mom was actually married by the Pope, my mom and dad, when he visited Colombia in 1968. But there was a break around 12 or 13 years of age where I'm like, no, this doesn't square with what I understand from the world. But I've never had any issues apart from my mom just complaining about me not going to church with her. But in China, 20 years here, and only last year I had an issue with this, was when I went to a Muslim restaurant and I wanted to eat. I think I mentioned in one of my videos. And the guy told me, like, where are you from? I'm from Colombia. What's your religion? I'm like, I don't have a religion. Oh, you can't eat here.
Yeah.
First time ever.
Fernando, you were drinking coffee going to school? What grade was that?
Look, in Colombia, we drink coffee from the age of 5. You go from the breast to the coffee pot.
And it's good coffee, too.
Yeah, I think it's probably got
All right, guys. Why don't we try something? Why don't we try this thing? Yeah? Taking live calls. What do you guys reckon? Give it a go?
Well, if anyone calls.
Can we get that Jack Black guy on?
Jack Black? You want to talk Jack Black?
You want me to call in?
Come on, my favorite guy. Is he
Let
here?
me see.
Hi, Jack, if you're here.
So, guys, the phone number is on the screen if you want to talk to us.
Why don't meanwhile bring comments in meanwhile?
It can be WhatsApp, it can be WeChat, or the mobile phone here in China. What I would do is I would swap my headphones so I can hear what the conversation is taking place. Let's see if anybody's interested in calling. All right. Did we miss any other topics?
Someone says your previous clips was being deleted by YouTube.
My previous clip, which one?
Really?
I mean,
whose previous clip? The previous clip on this show, or?
I don't know. It's in the comment section on here on StreamYard, so it's kind of hard to tell whose comments it's come from. That's the beautiful thing about StreamYard.
Okay, so I'm adding somebody here on my WeChat. See if this person wants to call or wants to talk to us.
Yeah, someone is asking. I see someone was asking Alex about the speakers' YouTube links. Yeah, I see. Yuda.
Oh, the YouTube links. Yeah. Let me.
YouTube. Mine's just my name, Alex Absolute. You search it on YouTube.
I think all of us is our names.
Except mine.
So no, I mean, no, the name's on the screen. So I mean, okay, if you are not watching on Fernando's, search for Fermube. You can see it on his.
Come on.
Nobody can say it except me. Fermube. And
Fermube. I can say it.
And then look for Alex Absolute. Of course, Walkabout Rojo can say that because your name is also. Yes.
See, that's where it always gets me. The J being an H sound. I always thought it was Walkabout Rojo.
No, it's Rojo. I am like Rojo, the Chicano
like
redhead, you know?
My wife, she says tortilla. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, we can't allow that. That's not allowed.
You can find me at my name, Ziv Glickman.
Okay, yeah. I have a guy that I know wants to talk, so I'm going to call him. Okay.
Oh, you're going to surprise someone.
Call him.
It's Fernando, you know it's 11 o'clock at night. Yeah.
No, he was calling just a couple of minutes ago. Let me see if he picks up.
Somebody here said that you removed our names from the lower thirds. That's why nobody knows our channel names.
Oh,
yeah, because
put our name back.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Put it put 4 screens, Fernando, so they can see our name now.
Let me see if I can do that now in the middle of a stream. Okay, this John. Oh, no, it's there. Show and display names.
Talking to phone numbers while we're getting some dead time. anybody who's in China and wants to get on some apps which you can't normally, let's say, what's it called? That new one, the hipster one, which I just got on and then didn't find was that great, Clubhouse. You can use an app called Dingtone. They will give you an American number for $20, and you can access TikTok, God forbid, and see what I did there with the old.
All right, guys. So I look like a real DJ. Okay, I'm taking a phone call. Hello, and what's your name, sir?
Oh, that's not coming through at all, man. Yeah.
No, it's not coming well. All right, we try another number.
That's maybe intentional.
Try WeChat or maybe try WeChat or try WhatsApp. Anybody abroad would like to try?
Yeah.
Was that intentional? Voice muffling?
Well, while we're waiting, can I pose a question while we're waiting to get this done? You mentioned this at the very beginning of the stream, Fernando. What is the difference between a religion and a cult?
Ooh, very interesting.
They make movies about cults. They don't make them about religion.
They make plenty of movies about religion, dude. Come on, man.
Do they?
Oh yeah, they make documentaries about cults.
Okay. Let me see
cults
if I
sound
can.
cooler, right? Cults come with guns.
Well, Joe Rogan had I heard it, and he said all religions are cults. The only difference is in a cult, the leader is still alive.
Not for long, though.
It was Joe Rogan's quote, not mine. He apparently has this whole bit on religion and cults and everything. But, you know, when you think about it, he does kind of have a point, yeah.
Someone saying, Bernard Tan say, all religion teaches us to be good human beings. I mean, I tend to agree. Hopefully people interpret it this way, you know?
Yeah. I agree too.
I have a very private perception of religion. I feel that religion basically is trying to explain three questions that we can't answer. That if we answer, they give birth to that faith, a leap of faith. You have to believe in that, and whatever answer you decide to believe, that's one religion. And the issue with that is that as you give it a name, you either believe in that or you leave it in this one or the other one. So if you don't believe in mine, then you must be wrong. So who's going to heaven? Only I am going to heaven because I believe in the right one, and you are in the wrong one. I believe that religions tend to exclude people. Religions tend to exclude people, and that's what I don't like about them.
So does China YouTube. Like, you either have to be one side or the other.
Well, I would say that religion is a much bigger problem than just YouTube. Because someone was saying, that religions are the world's biggest killers. Most of the wars in the world have been started because of religion or using religion as a disguise.
Well, this is not a show about whether religion is good or not, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
no. I'm not saying that religion. I'm not saying that religion is good or bad. What I'm trying to say is that.
I mean, that's a pretty open-ended question. Like a steak can be good or bad. It doesn't mean all steaks are bad. It's everybody's interpretation. It's the same with anything. People interpret things, if it's religion or if it's like something even much like completely different to that. Everything comes down to people's interpretations of things and the way people perceive what their understanding of it is and how they should be dealing with it. You can have people that are religious which are pretty bad, and you can have people which are not religious which are pretty bad. There's what's that word again?
Someone just wrote, there is no name, but someone just wrote, if you look at the 10 commandments, they're all pretty duh, yeah? I don't understand why some people need the weekly reminder.
It's a good point.
Someone's trying to call us, Fernando. We can hear.
Okay, somebody's
phone.
there?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, someone is there. Yes. Hello, hello.
All
Hey.
right.
Johan Brouwer.
Johan Bauer.
Johan. Hello.
Oh, I like this.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Oh, okay. This conversation, this light test is going million miles an hour, and I have been taking notes, and I'm, a little bit behind. But when it comes to religion, only really Americans and maybe some Middle Eastern people think that religion is very important part of their lives. In Europe, almost nobody thinks that way. And also, most religions, they promote kindness and friendship and helping others. And I don't think that the religions are incompatible. I think they are very, very compatible. So this idea of religions being at odds with each other, I think it's against the religions themselves. The best example is the Ottoman Empire reaching all the way to, southern France. They were the kindest invaders ever. Religions, they promote good values. I'm not religious myself, but I acknowledge the Muslim, the Jewish, the Christian religions as good things. But somehow in this world, those things have been set against each other, where somebody has to win, somebody's right, somebody's wrong. And I don't think that that's the fundamental idea of religion.
What do you think about religion in China? What is your perception? What is your point of view?
Well, ironically, I grew up in Europe. I lived probably half my life in the US, and now I live in China. And I'm not religious, but my wife here in China, who is a member of the party at a good standing at a pretty high level, she wanted a Christian church wedding in Finland. And that's what we had. And then we had a Chinese wedding after that. But for some odd reason, this hardcore CPC member is more religious than I am.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. This has been a fantastic experience. I'm really, really happy with the way that this is working.
Which Johan is this? What's your last name?
Hey,
Johan Brouwer.
Awesome discussion.
Johan Brouwer.
We've seen your comments.
He comments in our shows all the time.
Alex, tell Alex that it's Johan Brouwer. He butts my name so badly that I had to take an offense.
All right. Good. Have a good evening, sir, and thank you for calling.
Okay.
All right.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So let me.
Very interesting. That was a good experience, man. We need to work on the technical aspects, but I love the idea that the guests or the viewers can call in like this. That's pretty cool. No.
Yeah, I mean, you can also add people to the show and then make them verify via like a Facebook thing, so they know it's genuine people. That's another option.
Yeah, well, I thought that the phone call would be kind of like a lot more free. Obviously, when we grow a little bit bigger, we'll probably have to screen people. We're going to have really nasty people calling. But hey, it went quite well today.
Game on.
Yeah, that would be fun. All right, guys. I want to thank you all for this fantastic show. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. I want to remind all of you guys to, well, go to our channels and, well, subscribe. Also, If you want to support the work that we do, you can scan this QR code to support my channel. And those people who have any kind of support links, they have it on their own channels.
Yeah.
So
we should also again mention Caliber Wings. I don't know if he did help in the end, but that was the intention there.
Yeah, but he was a little bit ill today, right?
Right. Hopefully he's okay now. And yeah, like you said, subscribe to our channels. Go to, of course, China as well. And on this topic still, I'm still planning, hoping to do it soon, to do a video about being Jewish in China. So you guys might be interested.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Be
So
cool.
Paul, what's up with you? How would you like to end the show?
Me? Okay. Well, look, I think this was a very sensitive topic. We hit on a lot of things, but I'm happy to see that we're all still here. We're not yelling at each other. We're not at each other's throats. And that's the whole point of the WuMao show. It sounds like it's to have constructive conversation, constructive debate. And that's why I was proud to be here with you guys today. So thank you very much for allowing me to be part of this, because it is a very sensitive topic. And there's going to be a lot of nasty stuff going back and forth in the comment sections. You know that's going to happen. And we kind of invite it. But I want to point out to everyone out there, please, this is an open dialogue. And one's not better than the other. We're just different. And that's something that should be celebrated. So.
Alex, final thoughts.
Yeah, it's been fun. I like Paul said, it's I think we've covered a lot. I think it's everybody's discussed it nicely. I would like to point out, if you don't have the same opinion as me, you're wrong. But that's just a joke, FYI, for anybody who's just about to get on their sensitive little keyboards down there. Although, be warned, people in the comments section, if you do make silly comments, and especially nasty ones, I just love those kind of comments.
Hey, and nobody knocked on our door, or at least we couldn't hear it.
No, I guess
Chris Light says I am funny. Thank you, Chris. Thank you to Alex Reportify for, as always, he's a big supporter of everybody here. He's always he always makes sure he's here. So yeah, big shout out to him. Me and him should actually be doing a drone thing soon, an aerial thing. On the subject of aerial things, I did a pretty good drone video of my favorite clips from the last 12 months. If anybody hasn't gone and watched it, what were you doing? Go and watch it now. It's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah. Sub to everybody
guys.
on the panel.
Once more, a very, very good and great deal of appreciation to Jerry, who's riding on his bike and still took time to be on the show, and to Jing Jing, who allowed us to put some of her videos out there, and who actually provided a lot of official information to some of the questions that we had for this show. So thank you very much for them. Their links are also in the description of my video down here. And guys, thank you all so much for taking part. And that's it for tonight. Thank you so much. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. Share, comment, like, all those
Thank you, Fernando,
we'll
for putting it all together. Thanks, Fernando.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Peace.